It was a big day on grounds at the University of Virginia for the men's basketball squad at UVA, as Tony Bennett's guys always play team ball, but today one of their guys had a big day.
For sure. Jay Huff, the forward, 13 points from him today, really showing the crowd what taking that year, in the freshman year at least, can really do.
Okay, cool, whatever you're showing. Okay, cool. You are watching ACC Network Extra. It is a chilly 45 degrees in Charlottesville, Virginia, but things are just starting to heat up in John Paul Jones Arena as the number 13th team in the land faces off with the home team, Virginia Cavaliers, in what will be a clash of the SEC and the ACC. Hi, everybody. I'm Fran Harris, along with former UVA standout Lauren Moses. And Lauren, this is a different kind of test for UVA, coming off an impressive win in California. What do you expect for today's matchup?
I mean, both of these teams are very similar. Kentucky, a very defensive-minded team who uses their defense to get out in transition. And same case for Virginia, likes to run, likes to push the pace, but they use that for rebounding.
Now, both teams are led by two electrifying guard forward players. For UK, you've got Ryan Howard, the 6'2 sophomore, who has no holes in her games whatsoever.
No holes and great size. I'd like to call her a positionless player. She can do just about anything, anywhere on this court. Really came into her own this year after, last year everyone was trying to get her the ball. Now she's creating for herself. She knows where she wants the ball, and she's going to put herself in that position to do what she needs to do to get a win for her team.
Howard extremely impressive early in the season. For Virginia, you've got Jocelyn Willoughby, who is a woman on a mission in this fourth year.
Yeah, I mean, she is the engine of this Virginia team. She knows what she wants, similar to Howard, and that's why it's going to be such a great matchup. But similarly, can hit the shot from the three-point line. She's getting other players involved, which is going to be necessary looking forward for this team. But she is aggressive. She has the energy of, a bunny. She just doesn't die down,
the coaches in today's game. Matthew Mitchell, in his 13th season at the helm of Kentucky, says that this is a concern of his because Virginia loves to run and they aren't necessarily getting back in transition very much. And Tina Thompson had similar concerns about this UK team as well.
Yeah, for sure. Coach Mitchell talked about it. He has these tools that he really wants to use to get his team to get this win.
Coach Tina Thompson, their first pick in the draft in the WNBA in 1997, one of the all-time leading scorers at USC. And has, yeah, okay. Okay, good. Cool. Okay. Good to have you back. I was like, well, that's odd. He's not going to be here, but okay. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. I got you. I got you. Can you hear him?
I can hear him.
Okay.
Do we need to talk?
I think he wanted a mic check. I don't know if it was just for me or if it was for you as well. Okay, you still need it? Or are you good? Benton basketball, UVA 1, 2, 3 for Fran Harris. Kentucky versus Virginia.
Lauren Moses, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
University of Virginia Army ROTC. Please join the Atlantic Coast Conference, our student athletes and coaches, in honoring America for the singing of our national anthem, performed by the acoustics. We ask that you please remain standing until the colors have left the floor. Sabrina Haines.
You are watching ACC Network Extra. Well, it is a chilly 45 degrees in Charlottesville, Virginia, but things are starting to heat up inside the John Paul Jones Arena as the 2-1 Virginia Cavaliers get ready to face off against the 3-0 Kentucky Wildcats in what's sure to be a clash of the SEC and the ACC. Hi, everybody. I'm Fran Harris, along with former UVA Cavalier Lauren Moses. And Lauren, these are two teams that love to play the same kind of game. What are you anticipating for today's game?
Like you said, very similar, but Kentucky, defensive-driven team. They know what they want on the offensive end, but they use their defense to try to trigger that, to try to push in transition. And same for Virginia. They like to get down the court, and they use their rebounding to do that as well.
Now, both of these teams are led by electrifying guards. For Kentucky, Brian Howard literally has no holes in her game.
For sure. She is a positionless player. She knows where she wants to get the ball on the court, and she makes it happen. Last year, she was sort of in a role where people were getting her the ball in her sweet spots, but now she's taking people off the dribble. She's shooting one dribble pull-ups, and she looks super comfortable out there. She has a slow type of tempo, but then when she gets the ball in her hands, she's pretty confident.
Impressive start last game against Stetson, 24 points for Howard. For Virginia, they have relied very heavily on Jocelyn Willoughby, who's been steady for Virginia the entire 4 seasons she's been here, but she has to do something special for them today.
Yeah, she's the engine of this team, this Virginia team. She is so comfortable. She takes her time. She reads the defense very well, and her energy is just unmatched. She fights through fatigue, very aggressive driver, and is confident when she gets the ball out there on the three-point line as well.
Willoughby with big goals, woman on a mission. And here we go. Tina Thompson in her second season calls it renovation for her team. Not rebuilding, but renovation. The Hall of Famer there, Naismith Hall of Famer, Women's Basketball Hall of Famer, USC's all-time scoring list. She's done a terrific job for this Cavalier team. And there he is, one of the sharpest dressers in the SEC in women's basketball, Matthew Mitchell, in his 13th season at the helm of a very successful Kentucky Wildcat program. And we are set in John Paul Jones Arena. Some new faces we'll get to talk to you about and introduce you to later. Virginia will control the tip. And an opportunity for them to go against a very tough Kentucky defense.
For sure, and we talked about it. Their defense is what is going to generate their offense, getting a trap on that ball screen, and Virginia does that as well at times, but getting her a little bit too far out, turning the ball or throwing the ball out of bounds.
19 on the shot clock. Virginia trying to get this back. Fluid offensively. Toussaint's miss off the rim, and here comes Kentucky. Kentucky with the potent starting five. Sabrina Haines, Ryan Howard. We talked about her a little bit, but there are a lot of weapons in that lineup for Kentucky.
For sure. Sabrina Haines is one of them. She leads this team on the offensive end. She's bringing up the court. She's very vocal. But one of the players that coach says that he needs to see a little bit more from is Wyatt. She's the post player for this Kentucky team, and just having her feel more of a balance on the offensive end is going to be important.
This is what you'll see from Kentucky. Very aggressive on the boards. Lots of activity, the culture of rebounding, and some quick shots. They go get the rebound as well. 7 on the shot clock. The pull-up goes down for Sabrina Haines. 5'10" senior knocking that one down.
Great defense, hand in her face, but wasn't enough to stop her hitting that shot.
So you'll see the full court pressure by Kentucky. Likes to make you go and get out of control, and we see Twat turning that one over for the Cavaliers. Stop and pop. Again, early shot. They will take that shot and try to go with the early rebound. Virginia's starting lineup, no surprises there. Toussaint, Willoughby, Jablonowski, Twat, and Lawson. Who's the key in that one?
Jocelyn is obviously the key. She has to be having a great night against USC. She went, the first half without scoring a bucket, which really hurt them. I think players that need to step up is Twa and Jablonowski. They need to get in more of a rhythm right now. I think they're relying heavily on Willoughby.
Twa misses Jablonowski wide open underneath for a bucket, and now it's just Harry Carey for Virginia. And we've got a traveling by Jablonowski, but that was a little interesting for Virginia.
Interesting would be the right word. I mean, Kentucky didn't really play defense there, and they're just too careless with the ball. Turnovers, it's going to be important because, as we said in the open, they do like to push the ball in transition, and they'll get in those passing lanes and start running in transition very soon.
Amanda Pascal anchoring the point position for the Wildcats, and the rebound by Toussaint. Here's where Nikki Toussaint is very dangerous. Her ability to get to the hole was settles for a 15-footer.
Yeah, I thought she made a really good hesitation there at that free throw line and could have definitely put her head down or her shoulder down and finished that, but she decided to pull up.
Lots of dribble and kick. Kentucky really shares the ball very well. Nice pass down low. And you see why Kentucky is so potent offensively. And you know they will press this Virginia team. How effective do you think this is going to be against this team that doesn't necessarily have a true point guard yet?
I mean, it's going to be extremely effective just because of their length and how quick they are and able to recover. You know, if they do get beat on the press, they're able to recover and get the rebounds.
So Amadine Twa goes down low to Jablonowski, who can't get it to go, but will go to the free throw line.
And that's a great cut by Jablonowski. In their last game, Kentucky played Stinson, and those backdoor cuts were there all day, and even backdoor cutting off of ball screens as well.
As we look at this Virginia starting lineup, we have to start with how well Jablonowski played last year. This is a player who didn't play a whole lot in her sophomore season, was critical to Virginia's success last year.
She was. I mean, rebounding has always been something that she's been really good at, but I think she's getting more balanced at that block. She's posting up a lot stronger. She's finishing a lot better, and that's what's going to be important. You know, they lose Iotin, and they lose a little bit in the post section, but if she can really show up offensively and start producing points for this Virginia team, they can be a lot more physical.
Jablonowski, the fourth year from Luxembourg. If she corrects your pronunciation of that country, gets them both. Virginia trailing by 2 here early in the first. Now Virginia tightening up their man-to-man defense. That's a nice step back. Doesn't go down. Willoughby with an opportunity in transition. Twa can't hold on to it, but look for Willoughby to start getting something going early. The step through, and we'll draw the foul. Nice move.
Yeah, they have to stay aggressive. They have to get to that free throw line. You know, Lisa has been doing a great job, as we just talked about, but last game she only got to the free throw line about 2 times, and that's just not going to do it. They have to put themselves in positions to get free points.
One of the things that Coach Matthew Mitchell told us before the game that he was concerned about with Virginia was their ability to get out in transition, and we saw them not stop the basketball with Willoughby on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Willoughby is just, she's aggressive, she's strong, extremely strong, and it's really hard for anyone to stop her other than herself, and so if no one's in front of her, she's gonna go.
So Willoughby, one of the great UVA players. Look at her production over the 4 years she's been here.
I mean, it started off her freshman year, her coming in with a mindset, with a goal, and just living it out, you know, each year getting a little bit better, becoming more of a leader, and it's showing.
Nice pass down low, the collapse by the defenders for UVA, and the tie up, the fans loving it. Possession arrow, Kentucky.
That's what Virginia's going to have to do. There's a height advantage with Wyatt down there. Her and Jablonowski are a little bit of the same size, but her down there with Toussaint and Lawson was a perfect opportunity for them to trap that up.
The scouting report on Kentucky is that they can do it all. They've got bigs, they've got guards, they run the ball, they defend. Tough team. Nice take to the hole by Tatiana Wyatt. Wyatt doesn't go down. Toussaint. And that's a collapse between, looked like 2 Kentucky players, but the ball will go back to the Wildcats. Talk about so many similarities with these 2 teams, but what do you look for with UVA in this game?
Offensively, you have to get to the basket, get into the paint, as Nikki just did. Nikki hasn't been producing as well recently, but, you know, that's all they have. You know, you have to use the players that are out there, and I mean, rebounding is something that they've been doing great all season. They're putting the body on them early in the game. You saw Toussaint, you saw Jablonowski getting a body on the board, they're 43 rebounds this year, and is beating their opponents 9 on the boards.
So rebounding, a point of emphasis for Coach Tina Thompson. She says we are undersized at the post, so we've got to work a little bit harder to get those boards. Nice defense by the Cavaliers. You gotta love this full court press by the Wildcats. We'll talk a lot about what Matthew Mitchell said about the culture of defense at Kentucky, but they never let up.
They don't. You'll see that press until the 4th quarter.
Willoughby tries to step through, gets the bucket.
And that'll be there. That'll definitely be there because they play so hard on the ball. You give them one quick move that they're not expecting, they're going to go right by them. I mean, you see Jocelyn, one dribble and was basically there, and her foot's in the circle, so it couldn't have been a charge. But that is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to win this game on the free throw line. I'm sorry. That's what I believe.
Jocelyn Willoughby, great teammate, great team player. Sometimes I'm watching her a little bit too unselfish, tries to get other people involved, but this is a player who has to have a big season for Coach Tina Thompson's squad to be successful.
For sure, and I don't even see it as being unselfish. I just think other players need to have as much confidence in themselves as Jocelyn has in them.
On the Ann Myers watch list is Jocelyn, who, by the way, graduated and is in graduate school, just so you know, working on the second degree from the University of Virginia. So this high-octane offense by the Cats, a lot of dribble drive, a lot of drive and kick. 5 seconds remaining, and it's turned over, and here come the Cavaliers.
Great defensive possession for them, just staying down in front of the ball. Getting your hands in the passing lane, something that Kentucky does very well. And Lisa just came up with the steal.
In the ball game for Virginia, freshman Carol Miller out of Alexandria, Virginia, in the ball game for the first time. Had a pretty good swing in California. One game, 9 boards, 9 points. So Tina Thompson looking for big things from their freshman class. Twa turns the corner and nice step through and just turns it over. Probably should have shot that one.
Yeah, for sure. I think she was kind of in the middle there. Even if it was a bounce pass, that might have gotten through there.
Just joining us, Fran Harris and Lauren Moses on the call for Kentucky versus Virginia. John Paul Jones Arena, Virginia with the 3-point lead. Not for long, though. Kentucky with a nice little back door.
Blair Green, not scoring too much for this Kentucky team, but she's a hard worker, and she took advantage of the open shot.
Now, here's where you have to be very careful. A lot of times Matthew Mitchell says, we're not trying to turn the ball over, we're just trying to put a little pressure on the offensive players. All right, Virginia with a 1-point lead here at home. Back with more action here in a moment. Lauren Moses. When your jersey is lifted from the rafters, that's a pretty special moment for Coach Tina Thompson.
I can only imagine the real triple threat. She's played the game at the highest level. She's coaching at one of the highest levels. And she's a mom. You know, you saw the pictures online with her and Dylan with her jersey. And that can only be a moment that's shared between, you know, your loved ones. And what an awesome thing for her to be able to see that and be able to coach against that program that she helped raise.
And to be able to share that with your current team. She was a little salty that they did not win that game. She said, I want people to understand I'm salty about that.
I can imagine.
So Virginia lost to Southern Cal 59-49 in kind of a lackluster performance. They got back on track the next day versus CSUN, and here comes Kentucky. Got to stay vigilant with them in that transition game. Nice shot. Big knockdown by Sabrina Haines.
And that's what you want to do. You want to get down the court, stop the transition, but you have to be aware of the shooters. Haines able to hit that shot as well as putting it on the floor. So going out there, not to just contest the shot, but also to stop the drive.
Kentucky with the 2-point lead. And here's where you have to be really careful because they will run the rim. They run the rim extremely well and bury you in the paint. It's a nice drive here, but they share the ball so well. You just kick it out, find the open shooters, knock down.
Yep, Howard there created two people, brought two people to her, and that's what's going to happen all night. They know how well she can produce. I mean, right now, she's only taken 2 shots, hasn't hit yet, but we can expect them to get the ball in her hands a little bit more to get her a little bit more comfortable in this game.
It's a nice seal, may have been a travel. Yes, it is, and that will give the basketball back to Virginia. So the travel by Blair Green gives Virginia another opportunity against this press by Kentucky.
And you can't get too comfortable with the press because it'll be man, it'll be 1-2-2. So you have to be aware. And great finish down there by the freshman.
It's a good composure by 2 freshmen in the game right now for Coach Tina Thompson. Got Kylie Cornegay-Lucas and Carol Miller in the game trying to hold down the fort for this relatively young team. Virginia sticking with the man-to-man, 10 on the shot clock. And here comes Haines making a little magic. The step through, tries to draw the foul and gets it to go down, says, and one.
This Kentucky team, blue-collar team, don't care about the position, don't care about the contact. They're finishing through you.
Nice dish down low. Can she finish? Not. Finishing that one is Jablonowski, and then fouls. Gives the ball back to Kentucky.
Great pass by the freshman there. And you talked about it. This Kentucky team, make whatever move they need to get to that basket. They're going to do it all. And even mean mug you afterwards.
And one. Kentucky with a 2-point lead over Virginia. Fran Harris and Lauren Moses with you on the call, and a pretty exciting game. SEC versus ACC here, and another travel on the floor.
2 of the best leagues in the country.
Yep. Kentucky in this 1-2-1-1 press. Miller goes right by it, run through it like Swiss cheese.
And it's just that simple. I think these freshmen have an advantage being led by freshmen who were in similar positions. You know, they had to put on their jerseys just like everyone else and really had to lead at such a young age. You know, Dominique and Jocelyn, they were outscoring teams their freshman year, and so they're learning from great leaders.
So Cornegay-Lucas with the foul. The great thing also about first years is that they don't know what they don't know. And sometimes that's a very good thing, and sometimes it's a very challenging thing. But we are tied up here with 1:46 remaining in the first quarter. And pretty good so far, Lauren. What are your thoughts?
Pretty good. I mean, in their last game, Kentucky, Howard had 18 points in the first half. She hasn't scored yet, and that's great. It's almost the end of the first quarter, and if you're Virginia, you're happy about that. But if you're also Virginia, you have to stop the transition, and you have to stop letting guards get into the paint so easily. We see Haines at the free throw line now.
So the miss and the pickup by Willoughby, and a rare opportunity almost in secondary transition by Virginia 5 on the floor, Jablonowski, Toussaint, Willoughby, Miller, and Cornegay, Lucas. We haven't seen Nikki Toussaint do what she can do yet. I like the 2 shots she took earlier. The step back, the 3 is off. Almost rebounded by Jablonowski, who tries to go up and can't get it to go down. Nice activity on the boards by both teams. Nikki Toussaint didn't like that call one bit.
Yeah, goes in there a little bit wild, but I even like that drive. I mean, she did hit she took a shot, didn't hit it. And obviously she's not that confident right now. She's already missed 3 shots and hasn't been hitting them as consistently in the previous game. So you have to do what's more comfortable, and that time just didn't end up with her win.
Nice curl action by Kentucky. They keep you moving on defense. Lots of handoffs on offense. It's a nice move. And we've got a scrum on the floor. This one will go to Virginia with 47 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
I think the first time we actually saw Ryan Howard, sizing her defender up, trying to see how she can get into her comfort zone and her sweet spots. Great defense from Virginia.
So Virginia trails by 1. And I'm with you. I like the move by Toussaint the last time down the floor. She's pretty much unguardable off the bounce.
Yeah.
Nikki Toussaint, also her 4th year here at Virginia. In and out for the first free throw.
And it's hard. I mean, you have a hard shooting night or a bad shooting night. It's hard to kind of get into that rhythm again and stop thinking about the first 3 shots.
Yep. Toussaint knocks down the second free throw to tie this one up. And Kentucky with the possession, but Virginia, depending on this defensive play, may have the opportunity to go down for the last shot. Nice back door. And here comes Virginia with 28 seconds remaining. The kick out to Horton, air ball. Thought that was kind of early for that. Could have taken the last shot of the quarter. But you know how freshmen are, I'm open, I'm shooting. All of us have been there.
Yes, for sure. She's a little bit too comfortable there, and she could have even drove there, but but like you said, they are freshmen. They have to understand time.
Yep.
Exactly, time and possession.
Long 3, and that one goes down and holds up the follow-through just for extra measure there.
And we can only expect that she is coming back in this second quarter with some vengeance. Wasn't hitting her first couple shots, able to just easy in, done. We'll see what she can do coming back into the second quarter.
Virginia trails here in Charlottesville by 3, but you know, it was a close game. It's a close game now. It was a close game last season when these two teams met as well.
Yes, they held Ryan Howard to 11 points, and if they could do that today, it might end up good for them. But the difference there was that they had 32 turnovers, Virginia did, and Kentucky scored 32 points off of those turnovers.
This is a Kentucky team that will turn you over. That's their bread and butter, and then they score a lot out of that. Last year, outscored Virginia 42-31 in the second half alone, and it was just a treacherous night from the standpoint of taking care of the basketball for Coach Tina Thompson. She's hoping for a different outcome here today. 5 on the shot clock, nice dime down low. And that's another thing that Kentucky can do. They can break you down off the dribble and then find the big down low.
Yep, and I think we're so used to seeing Kentucky have one-on-one plays and things like that, but this time they took their time. They swung the ball from side to side. They got it from the high post into the post, and if they can do that consistently, they're going to see great results in this game, especially with the height advantage and the size that they have going up against these Virginia post players.
This is a Kentucky team that can hit you with from so many different angles. That's one of the things that makes them so tough, is that you got guard play, you got forward play, you got big play. And we talked to Matthew Mitchell today, and he said, we play a lot of people, you got to have the right fit to play in our program. You have to be a cultural fit, because we're not looking for superstars, we're looking for people who believe that we're stronger together.
For sure, and that starts in the recruiting process. You know, every program tries to have a culture, but this culture is 13, 14 years strong. So you can't come into this program thinking you're going to do it your own way, and he knows that, the players know that, and they do what they need to do to have great success over so many years.
Jocelyn Willoughby with a nice rebound, intelligent play, could have gone back up but saw the hole on the other side of the basket.
And she does that so well. She always takes that extra dribble when necessary, and just like we said, she's so strong, so poised.
And one of the other things Jocelyn Willoughby told me is that, you know, you see the way she plays, she's ferocious, she's competitive, and then when you talk to her and you hear her voice, and it's very soft.
Yeah.
She says people are really thrown by that. She says when they hear my voice. No doubt.
But her mentality is still aggressive.
Yes.
I mean, off the court, we've already talked about it. Getting her second degree from the University of Virginia. She's just ingrained. It's ingrained in her, the discipline that she has for practice, for getting shots up by herself, for studying by herself. Like, those are things that she does on her own. She puts it in her schedule, because I know she carries her schedule everywhere. And those are things that are going to get done that day.
Yep. We mentioned earlier Willoughby on the Ann Myers list. Top guards in the country. If you don't know who Ann Myers is, boys and girls, one of the premier pioneers of the game, women's basketball, played at UCLA. Just a tremendous ambassador for the game, now in management with the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA, and certainly one of the guards that put the game on the map. (17-14) lead. Kentucky here over Virginia, and again, got to keep those hands off those guards when you're guarding them. Foul by Trois.
Yep, the refs are calling it a little bit chippy, but rightfully so. I mean, your hands are on them, and that happened earlier in the game against Lucas, and now Trois going to have to keep their hands out.
Well, officials told us coming into the season, points of emphasis, guarding, you know, post play is one of them, but also guarding. They go, we'll give you one touch, and then the second touch, you're going to get called for the foul. Nice board. Wow, she gets 3 boards in a row and doesn't connect. And here comes Carnegie Lucas. North to south, one of the best on this Virginia team, can get from one end of the floor in 3.5 seconds. So when she's in the game, they are a better running team. Little pick and roll, the stop and pop doesn't go down for Willoughby. Opportunity for Kentucky. That's a beautiful reverse right there.
Virginia's got to get back in transition. Only person down the court was Toussaint, and she was on the other side of the court.
Jada Roper with the bucket for the Wildcats, lifting them to a 5-point lead here in the second quarter. The skip pass to Willoughby. And you look at Kentucky getting out on the wings. They're not allowing the catch and shoot by Virginia at all. Willoughby tries to go by. Nobody on the boards for Virginia. It's one-stop shopping. 19 on the shot clock. Go ahead and take that one. You got it like that. Cornegay Lucas holding it up for Virginia. You will see Kentucky do all kinds of defensive schemes, trapping on the wings, extending that offense by Virginia as far east and west as they can.
And no matter how wide it is, they don't let the ball in the middle. So it's really hard to get in there comfortably.
Nobody on the boards for Virginia right now, though. That means more opportunities for Kentucky. The block by Cornegay Lucas, a rare opportunity in transition, but nobody running for Virginia.
Yeah, no one rebounding, no one running, two of the things that they do best.
Tough shot by Nikki Toussaint, and again, one shot for Virginia. Another opportunity, nobody close to Cornegay Lucas, and finally a bucket. Rewarded for that defense.
Yeah, and that will help them. Getting the ball in transition. You see the ball go through the net, you have more confidence when you're down on that offensive end.
So Cornegay Lucas cuts it to 3 as Coach Tina Thompson wants to talk about it back in a moment. Whole lot going offensively, and it could be because Amadine Trois has not gotten into her rhythm here at the point guard position for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, she's going to be a very aggressive guard for this Virginia team. She has no one stopping her, and I mean, she is a fighter, as you can see, recovering from 2 torn ACL injuries. I mean, talk about the willpower you have to mentally get yourself up to go to rehab every day, go to treatment every day, go to classes every day, and have that goal in mind. When you come back on the court, you know, you're fighting with your sisters who are there to support you through it all.
Listen, I mean, think about that. You have an ACL, you get ready to play Virginia. The next year in preseason, you have an ACL on the other, let's get clear, on the other knee.
Yeah.
The mental fortitude that it takes to even come back and continue playing basketball, I think people don't really realize how difficult that is.
On top of being from another country.
Yes.
You know, she's not from the United States, she's from France, so all of her family, her friends are there, and so she's going back home injured, and then having to come back to States, going right back to treatment again.
So Twa looking to have a great first season. Right now looking to get back on the floor. Those 2 fouls keeping her out of the game right now. And Cornegay Lucas trying to hold down the fort is the first year, and along with Carol Miller, those players playing some big minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Miller playing 24 minutes and Lucas playing 20 minutes. If they can get a little bit more production out of them, I think you said it earlier, Lucas has a really good mindset when the ball's in her hand. She knows what's the right thing to do. She doesn't force any shots. So if they can get her a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more in rhythm, they could really help them out.
Here's where Virginia has struggled all day, getting an open look. Gets that one to go down as the first year. Cool and calm on that one.
And that'll also help against the zone. Kentucky playing a zone, a wide zone, but if you can skip the ball and hit your open shooters on the outside, that can put them back in that man-to-man.
Cornegay Lucas's three-point shot ties this ball game up at 19. 5:04 remaining in the second quarter. Now Virginia trying to tighten up that defense, the drive and kick. And a nice step through, good hands by Toussaint. And possession arrow points to Virginia.
And one of the keys for this Virginia team was, not allowing Howard to get into her rhythm, but they're kind of taking everyone out of their rhythm. The only player that has had success is Haines. I mean, she's gotten the ball where she kind of wanted to, and he's even hit a three-pointer. But everyone else is really fighting, and they're doing pump fakes and step around just to kind of get the ball in the basket.
We talked about Howard being a very big part of this success today, and we haven't really said her name a whole lot since that opening jumper. And we've got a travel by Jablonowski. The turnovers seem to be mounting for Virginia.
Yeah, 7 turnovers right now. Like we said, in this last matchup, they ended the game with 32 turnovers.
What? I'm acting like I wasn't there watching that game. I remember that game very well. 32 turnovers. Very difficult to overcome that against the top 25 team. So the isolation down low. And the good defense by Jablonowski, and here comes Miller. Wisely pulls it out and calls for a point guard to come and get the basketball. And now Lisa Jablonowski trying to bury down low, and does so, is successful at that. We've got a foul by Wyatt.
Very successful there. Jablonowski is not afraid to get tough, get pushed, be pushed. She puts her body on the line.
Lob out to Willoughby. 19 on the shot clock. Kentucky very selective about who they want to allow to have that shot. The ball movement over to Cornegay Lucas again. The penetration, and draws a foul.
Very good. I'm all about getting at least 1 foot in that paint, or getting the ball into the paint at least once during the possession, because it just opens up everything else. She had the shot out there, and she even had the kick out to Joss, but getting in there and getting on the free throw line, allowing options for some free points.
So Cornegay Lucas right now 2 of 3 from the field. First attempt at the free throw line, and playing some good minutes for Coach Tina Thompson right now. This is the first year out of Delaware. Camden. And that one way off. A good hustle by Willoughby. It will remain. And she makes a plea to the other official. Didn't you see it? It is Kentucky basketball. By the way, players always want to talk to officials, and I've never seen a call overturned.
Never.
By
in the game of basketball, never, ever.
By having a conversation with the player.
Don't even waste your breath. Just get back on defense.
That's a great screen, and the knockdown doesn't happen, but then Cornegay Lucas ties that one up, says official D. Kantner, and it will remain Kentucky basketball. 19 on the shot clock. Nika Toussaint, you've got to watch your back turn to the inbounder. Lots of plays have been foiled by folks bouncing it off your jersey.
Game winners.
That's right. 7 on the shot clock. The penetration and kick to Haines. And the rebound by Willoughby. Opportunity, Virginia. numbers right now. And Carnegie Lucas almost traveled. And you got to admire how Kentucky gets back. One of the areas that Matthew Mitchell said we're not good as transition defense.
And they're doing a pretty good job.
They're doing a pretty good job of it
They're getting
today.
at least 3 players back when the shot is up. And that's something that Virginia practices but hasn't been doing a great job of today.
Carnegie Lucas tries to thread the needle with that pass and had Willoughby open on the baseline for the jumper. And just a quick little turnover by Kentucky. Virginia with a 1-point lead with 3:01 remaining in the second quarter as Carnegie Lucas takes a breather, and Amadine Twa getting final instructions before she hits the floor for Coach Tina Thompson. So you see them crowding Willoughby, and Miller tries to make a... Is that going to be like a baseline bounce pass?
Yeah, I believe so. She was trying to get it over there to Jabanowski, or maybe the person cutting to the corner.
Yeah. Either way, it didn't look like it was going to get there. Saved by the defender. Carol Miller takes the jumper, and that one's off.
Offensively, Kentucky hasn't scored a bucket in a few.
Roper at the point guard for the Wildcats, and nice cut by Howard. She's a great passer, by the way. Sees the floor very well, tries to dish it down.
Kudos to the Virginia squad, playing defense so well. 5 minutes without a Kentucky bucket.
Amadine Twa just, I think part of what's happening with her right now is that she's not being aggressive and making the defense play her. So she's actually passing it exactly where the defense is.
Yeah, she's playing right into this Kentucky game. I mean, they stand in passing lanes, so you have to allow them to guard you before you can even pass it off to your wings.
So she's getting some counsel from Coach Tina Thompson as she earns that 3rd foul and has to take a seat on the bench, because she will have to play in this game. Nice move down low, rebound by Carol Miller. And 1-on-3 is Miller, and has a big collision before she hits the floor.
Aggressive drive from her there. Looked like she might have gotten hit in the knee.
Little knee-to-knee action, maybe. And we both played and know that's some tough.
Initial sting.
You're going to feel that for a while. As Miller, no doubt she was going right to the hole. 1-on-3. And we'll get the opportunity to shoot 2 free throws. Is limping a bit as she goes there.
Yeah, she's one of those deceivingly quick players. You know, you see her running down the court, you don't think she's going to take off as she does, but that long step really got her, propelled her kind of to the basket.
Miller's first free throw off, and one of the things that folks, if you've ever been to a Virginia practice, they do a lot of shooting. They do a lot of free throw shooting. They do a lot of form shooting. I bet they'll hear about this free throw percentage before the week is over.
Yeah, usually averaging 73% from the free throw line.
That's how it is when you play for a coach who got buckets.
You have to know how to get buckets.
You got to know how to get buckets. You have to know how to get buckets. And coaches who knew how to get buckets focus on shooting.
Yep.
They focus. They know the importance of spending time getting buckets.
Yeah.
Tina Thompson, 17 years in the WNBA, 4-time WNBA champion with the Houston Comets, 2-time Olympian in her 2nd season here, and really just trying to put the pieces together, get folks bought into the philosophy. Nice hustle by Carnegie Lucas. Nice pass and a good fake, ball fake, pump fake by Jocelyn Willoughby. Heads up play by the freshman.
Heads up play that is on the defensive end, getting it done, just taking the ball out of Kentucky's hands. And very unlike Kentucky, even on the offensive end. I mean, they do usually look for Howard and specific players and Wyatt in the post, but they're not even catching the ball aggressively. They're not being strong with it at all.
Right. Willoughby with her 8th point, make that her 9th point. on the afternoon. Virginia now with the 23-19 lead. And I mentioned in the open that this was going to be a test for Virginia. How are they graded so far?
They're doing pretty well. I mean, it starts on the defensive end, and they've handled that. They've gotten players out of their comfort zone. Howard hasn't been scoring recently. I mean, they're doing what they need to do right now in this first half to go into it with a little bit more confidence than they did last year.
It's a good tie-up by Miller. No numbers for Willoughby. And wisely pulls that one out. Carnegie Lucas with a nice bounce pass to Jablonowski, and she got steps. That's like the third time Jablonowski has traveled this afternoon.
Yeah, and even on the other end, the post players are doing the same with their backs to the basket. I think they're trying to move before they read the defense.
So good defense by the Wildcats, trailing here by 4. Pascal anchoring at the point. Wyatt over to Haines. The defense has picked up for Virginia. 11 on the shot clock. And the pressure, Kentucky succumbs to the pressure, and here comes Willoughby.
Kentucky's 12th turnover, not able to score right now. Toussaint couldn't get that one to go.
That's a tough shot. Takes the lid off this building if she knocks that one down, but a very tough shot by Nikki Toussaint. Wyatt answers with the 3 of her own. Coach Tina Thompson yelling one shot, 21 seconds remaining. This is where Toussaint can really shine, the ability to get to the hole. You see Jablonowski coming for on-ball pick. Kentucky ready for that. And we've got a travel on the floor by Miller. Sometimes first years get ahead of themselves.
Yeah, another turnover. I mean, they only have 11. Kentucky, they have 12 right now. Both teams not handling the ball, handling the pressure too well right now.
4 seconds. The jumper is short, and Virginia escapes that last second shot. It's been a back and forth battle. Virginia with a 1-point lead here at John Paul Jones Arena. We'll be back in a moment. back at John Paul Jones Arena for some halftime entertainment. The halftime game is looking pretty good. There wasn't a whole lot of excitement with both teams here. Kentucky facing UVA. Virginia went to the locker room with a 1-point lead, 23-22. But Lauren, we expected the superstars to show up. They didn't show up by burning up the nets, but Howard did get everybody else involved.
Yeah, I mean, they're leaders at the end of the day. They know how to score, obviously, but getting other people involved is really what both of these players do so well. Howard only hit a 3 this entire first half. Last game had 18 points in the first half. She is bringing a lot of attention towards her just because this Virginia team knows what she's capable of doing, but she just hasn't been able to get it going. But it's okay because, you know, she gets other people involved, and that's what happens.
Her team trailing by 1, and Howard did have 8 points and 8 rebounds, so not too shabby for a first half for Howard. For Jocelyn Willoughby, also 9 points, 7 rebounds, big half, didn't burn up the nets, but also doing it all on the floor.
Yeah, it's nothing we're not used to. She gets in transition, she finishes at the rim. Scoring a lot of her points at the free throw line now just because of how aggressive she's been, racking up fouls on the Kentucky side.
Here's where she really excels, though, in the open court here. Little pump fake, knows how to get it the old-fashioned way, and Jocelyn Willoughby will go to the free throw line and actually knock that one down. So when you take a look at this half in totality, let's compare these two superstars.
I mean, I said it in the beginning, free throw line. Jocelyn Willoughby right now, 7 for 7 from the free throw line. They're getting on the boards, which both of these teams do very well. Right now, Howard only 3 points, which is going to be key for the Virginia team if they want to stay leading in this game.
And both coaches were true to form, saying the things they were concerned about actually showed up in this ball game. So we'll come back and chop it up a little bit more about first half and talk to you and lead you to the second half as well. Virginia up by 1 here at home. It was a big day on grounds at the University of Virginia for the men's basketball squad. It was a big day on grounds at the University of Virginia for the men's basketball squad at UVA, as Tony Bennett's guys always play team ball, but today one of their guys had a big day.
For sure. Jay Huff, the forward, 13 points from him today, really showing the crowd what taking that year, in the freshman year at least, can really do for a player's game. He's stronger, he's faster, he's able to do a lot more for this Virginia team. He's dunking backwards. I mean, he's really putting it all out here today, and it showed.
Big three for Huff as well, just an all-around game, 13 points. He had 6 rebounds for Jay Huff, 5 blocks, an emphatic day as the Virginia Cavaliers defeat Columbia 60-42. We'll be back for more first half action at John Paul Jones Arena in just a moment. Still halftime at UVA versus Kentucky, 23-22 lead for the Cavaliers. And you know, Virginia faced this team last year and really had to deal with their defense, and they've continued those cat-like ways on defense here today.
For sure, that press is one to be reckoned with. Messing things up 90 feet away from the floor for this Virginia team. They had 11 turnovers in the first half, and they just have to handle the ball a little bit better.
You see Toussaint trying to get to the hole, but they are in the passing lanes. That's where they live. Yeah. They are one of the best teams in the country at transitioning from defense to offense as well.
For sure. I mean, offensively, they haven't been on point as they usually are. They've scored 5 points off of turnovers, which is usually in double digits. Just not looking too comfortable right now.
Always one of the toughest defensive teams in the country. Do it on both ends. Every year ranked nationally in all of those defensive stats.
Yeah. They call it 40 minutes
of dread.
And that boosted your confidence a little bit too, just knowing that that name is with you and that team's looking at you. They know what you're coming in there with, and so you have to produce. And right now, Kentucky has been doing that defensively, trying to get a little bit more offensively from other players. That's Howard not scoring too well right now.
You may be too young for this reference. We'll talk about 40 minutes of hell is what the Arkansas men used to call it. That's what Kentucky does, and they also get it done on the other end. And Virginia able to get into the rebounding action and get more opportunities on that offensive end because of that.
Yep, finished first half, 19 rebounds, something that they've been doing really well at. And credit to Lisa Jablonowski down there with those post players. She's been really pushing back, and everyone has just been doing such a good job of getting on the boards and using that to start their offense.
Trying to get some transition opportunities. Let's take a look at the stats for the first half. Field goal percentage is not, again, we're burning up the nets by any stretch of the imagination. Pretty even in the rebound area. Anything surprising you in half-court time stats?
Nothing too surprising. I mean, they're so similar. You know, they have a few players that really stand out for their programs, and then everyone else just does the blue-collar dirty work. And right now it shows in our stats that they're doing just
what
about
they
the same.
do. Yeah, they do what they do. Virginia's trying to become a great rebounding team. That's exactly what Coach Matthew Mitchell said he was concerned about.
Yep.
Coach Tina Thompson has been preaching in the last 3 practices, along with associate head coach Carlene Thompson, saying we've got to watch their defense. They're scrappy. They're going to get in the passing lanes. We've got to take care of the basketball, and we're seeing that coming true to light here.
For sure, this Virginia team trying to find that identity, that rebounding, pushing, out in transition. I think last year they were really mixed about what they wanted to do and what their identity was going to be, and I think this year they're finding that, and they're just trying to do it at a consistent level.
So the 1-point lead coming into the second half, and we'll see what happens here in the second half. And we've got an illegal screen, it looks like, called on Kentucky. It'll be Virginia basketball.
Yeah, Twa got hit there. Hopefully she can find her rhythm in the second half. Had 3 fouls in the first half, only took 1 shot.
Confidence is so important
It
for
is.
every position, but that point guard position, you got to have the confidence, steely confidence to be able to succeed at that spot.
Yeah, and I think Nikki does a good job because she doesn't allow the shots that she misses to stop her from playing defense or stop her from rebounding and contributing. And that comes with experience for sure. And so Twa, her first year out here playing with this team and being that leader and that second coach on the court is really going to be something that she grows into a lot this year.
Ball goes back to Kentucky. Willoughby on the drive on the other end with an offensive foul. And Kentucky with the opportunity to go up here in the second half. Danny Lawson back in the lineup at the 5 for Coach Tina Thompson. Jablonowski, Willoughby, Toussaint, and Twa. That's a nice move. Rebound by Willoughby, good defense by Willoughby. Virginia in transition. The give and go, back to Willoughby. Jablonowski with the nice dime. Virginia goes up 3.
Great scoop pass to Willoughby. Leaves it a little bit too far underneath that basket, but found her team on the other side of the paint.
That one short. Bounce pass, beautiful thread of the needle right there for Toussaint.
Yeah, had to put a little bit more bounce on that, but this last play, Willoughby gets it out ahead, and she gets it right back. Give and go.
So Haines will anchor it for the Wildcats. Twa guarding a very difficult one-on-one player. I'll remind you that Twa has 3 fouls for Coach Tina Thompson. Turning the corner is Roper. The rebound, nice defense by Willoughby. 3-on-2 opportunity. A little bit behind. Toussaint tries to make a little lemonade and does not get it to go down. Pass a little bit late from Willoughby in transition. And now we will stay at this end, I believe, as Twa
Comes up.
I think it's going to be signal for a foul. That would be 4 on her if they're calling that one on her. And I'm assuming it's her because she was explaining, but it could. Usually the player that's explaining,
guilty, yeah.
the player explaining is getting the foul call. But nice jumper, Haines, nice curl.
First time that we've seen Haines score since the first quarter. Trying to give her team some momentum here in the second half.
Haines now with 10 points, bringing the Wildcats to within 1. And look at Kentucky just switching there on those perimeter rolls, making sure that the shooters don't get open. Toussaint pulls up, that one's short. And the good hustle by Lawson. It will be Connecticut basketball.
These guards on the Virginia team have to get into a rhythm. I think they're playing a little bit too robotic, or they're playing into what Kentucky wants them to do, is they're settling for those jumpers, contested jumpers at that.
So Virginia holding on to a 1-point lead, 7:18 in the third quarter. Fran Harris and Lauren Moses, former UVA standout, with you today. There's some SEC, ACC action, two of the premier conferences in women's basketball. I like the patience there of Kentucky, but there was a travel on the floor.
Once again, moving a little bit too fast down there on the post.
So the travel by Nene Cole gives it back to Virginia. And in the ball game, first action today from Sydney, Australia. First year Meg Jefferson. And some nice aggressive play on the block. Willoughby and who was that? Who was that getting tangled up?
Pascal down there,
Pascal,
yeah. Kentucky team getting a little bit chippier in the second half, knowing that they have to get the momentum back up, and that's what they do. They get it on the defensive end so that it comes easier offensively.
I love it. D. Canton called a push on Connecticut, and Roper said, no, no, no. It was the other way around. Again, make that case, young player, make that case. So we're going to step aside, back with more Virginia basketball in a moment. Sunday, November 24th, we'll have the #1 women's team and the #4 men's team in college basketball doubleheader. Sabrina Haines and top-ranked Oregon square off against #20 Syracuse at the Carrier Dome at 4 p.m. Eastern. Then, 4th-ranked Louisville hosts Akron. Both games are right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. That ought to be good.
For sure.
I got excited.
Staying in front of my TV all day.
Yep. Got a pretty good one here in Virginia. Virginia with a 1-point lead over #13 Connecticut. Kentucky. Those are not in the same state, are they? Okay. Kentucky. Well, they are both blue. Okay,
They are?
Here we go.
I'll give you that one.
So the hard hedge by Virginia.
Got to get there before she takes off from that free throw, or from that screen, excuse me. That'll stop the refs from blowing their whistle so much out there on the perimeter.
Shot clock reset. New rule in women's basketball. If it gets down to a certain level and there is a foul or even anything that stops the clock, it will reset to 20 seconds. The long jumper goes down by Kiki McKinney.
Hasn't scored much inside, but has that ability to stretch the floor. She's 2 for 7 from long in the season.
Kentucky now with a 2-point lead. And the defense has picked up for the Wildcats. About to be a 5-second turnover here in the moment. And it is. So a little disorganization by Virginia.
Going back to the first few minutes of this game where Virginia was kind of just throwing the ball anywhere, not having much control or poise on the offensive end, not getting into any sets.
But that's what Kentucky does.
Yep.
They make you rush, they make you play ugly, they make you turn over the basketball.
They make you forget everything you practiced.
Yep. Everything you've been focusing on the past 72 hours goes out the window once that pressure hits you. Big boards by Kentucky. And that's where they get you as well. A lot of activity on the offensive boards.
Yeah, they've done a really good job in their first 3 games getting to that offensive rim, and Coach talked about it, that post presence. Hasn't been pleased with the post presence in the first couple games, hasn't been consistent, but gaining balance is something that, you know, is going to happen. It's early in the season.
Nene Cole on the line for Kentucky. 6'3", senior. You know, there are 5 seniors on this team. Only one of them has actually been here for 4 years. The others transferred in. That's a different situation, right?
So many transfers on this Kentucky squad. More experience.
Nene Cole knocks down the first one, the senior out of Gainesville, Virginia. Gives the Wildcats a 4-point lead now.
And we see the press once again. I think the first few times in the beginning of this half, they've been able to rile Virginia up, and they do so again.
This is more of Kentucky speed right here.
Yep.
This is how they like to play. And they get hot really fast.
Real fast. Let them get a few turnovers on this Virginia team, and they will definitely make you pay.
Very emotionally defensively. The stop and pop. Nikki Toussaint can't go down, and here comes the blue. Pickoff by Carol Miller goes back to Kentucky.
Great effort there by the freshman, running to the corner to try to get that out, but Kentucky looking a little bit familiar. Something we expected coming into this game. Getting comfortable on the defensive end, allowing them to do what they like to do best on the offensive end.
Just like that, Kentucky now with a 7-point lead over Virginia. Kentucky Wildcats on a 10-0 run, and their engine is fueled by a lot of passion. At the timeout, we saw the assistant coaches getting into it, selling their plays to Matthew Mitchell, selling their plays to each other, saying this is what we do. We got to get this thing back on track.
I think that run really opened up the coaches' eyes and said, hey, this is what's working. We need to stick with this, or we need to take advantage of what this Virginia defense is doing and what they're not doing.
Love to see passion throughout the program, and that runs deep in this Kentucky program. And they've done this 10-0 run we talked about, attributed to defense. Yep. Defense.
8 points
hustle.
off of turnovers.
Yep. They stuck with the game plan, right? At first, it didn't seem as though Virginia was that bothered by it. They stuck with their game plan, and ultimately, it got them this lead. Willoughby, nobody stops you, go to the hole, and gets it to go down.
Virginia had great defense on the other end. Willoughby takes it right to the chest of Roper.
And they call that a foul on Jocelyn Willoughby.
Yep.
So it's a nice penetration to the hole. Defense there. That's a good call.
It's a good call. She
That's
got her
a good
feet
call.
there.
Sometimes you got to stop and pull up. So the pace definitely favoring the Wildcats. Nice hesitation. And that will be Virginia basketball.
Great move there from Roper, so much so she lost her shoe. Couldn't get
Broke
it up
her
to
own
the
ankles.
couldn't get it up there to the rim, but great move, hesitation move there at the elbow.
You ever
Couldn't
make
get
a
it to
move?
go.
You ever make a move so good you break your own ankles?
Oh, I'm not sure about that, but I've definitely lost a shoe or two. Going hard in the paint though.
The 7-point lead by Kentucky. Carol Miller tries to get that one to go down. No activity on the boards in white jerseys. Here come the Wildcats.
You know, in the first half, I think we saw a lot of the Virginia players going to the rim a lot more often, and now it's just Lisa down there going 1 against 3 and 4 at times.
What you don't see are folks filling the lanes for Virginia. The pump fake by Carol Miller.
Trying to make something happen for her squad. This underclassman or freshman, first year, I guess.
First year, as they like to be called.
As we are used to being called at the University of Virginia.
That's a Virginia thing.
It is a Virginia
when
thing.
I first started calling their games, I was like, and the freshmen, they were like, it's first year.
Yeah. Great catch.
Jablonowski cannot handle, but tracking it down is Miller. And Virginia with another possession and fresh shot clock.
Great drive. I don't like the timing of that shot, just because they did get a new fresh shot clock and haven't been scoring in the past 5-6 minutes. You got to get a play. You got to get a good looking shot. You had her on your hip, but someone's there. Someone's always going to be there because it's Kentucky's defense.
7 turnovers for Virginia in this quarter alone.
Yep.
It starts to add up for points for the Wildcats. We're stuck at 32-25, and that's going to be a travel. Virginia getting the offensive opportunities, not converting on the other end, and you got to give Connecticut all the credit. They are in great help defense, great communication. Yep.
Kentucky, yeah. We have to. Kentucky, we knew what they were going to be about. I think it's a little odd just because Howard isn't out here as much, just because she is in a little bit of foul trouble with 3. But she's going to come back, and she's going to do what she always does, just like this program and this team does what they always do.
Nice shot. Dylan Horton from the corner for Tina Thompson, knocking that one down.
Dylan Horton got her team out of that drought. She's 3 for 9 from the 3-point line now on the season.
4-point lead for the Wildcats. Nice move. Kiki McKinney.
And as Coach Mitchell talked about, I mean, when you know you have post players that can do that and they're not doing that consistently, I can see how he could be, you know, upset about that or displeased about his post players. But I mean, when they do it, you have to congratulate them and you have to cheer them on and just make sure that they continue doing it.
Jablonowski thought about the three, draws a foul instead. The Huddle with Jack Collinsworth, Eric McLean, EJ Manuel, and Mark Wright. Get you set for the weekend slate of ACC games. Saturdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Jablonowski on the line for Virginia has had a quiet offensive day for the Cavaliers.
I think she's been doing a lot of work in other places. She's been handling the post play. First half, they didn't score much in the paint for Kentucky. She's been rebounding so-so, but really just putting herself in position for her other teammates to kind of pick up where she usually is doing all of the work.
Knocks it down. 34-30 lead Kentucky. It's a nice take and a big block by Hornegate Lucas.
That was a close one.
Yeah. She got a warning.
She did get a warning. That was very nice from the referee. Gives her that one. Came over, though. Even though she got beat, she said, oh, yeah, we're not finished there.
Officials have to get that under control. Big block, emotions, passion. You got to maintain your poise out here. Roper over Carnegie Lucas. And a big rebound by the Wildcats.
I believe she fell out of bounds and might have stepped in someone's foot as she was falling out.
So as we can see, there is a player
McKinney
on the sideline, Kiki McKinney for Kentucky, still on the floor. And we weren't able to see. We were looking at the action on the floor, but she is obviously in pain as she's in tears now. You hate to see a player go down in any situation, but certainly a kind of a freak accident.
Yeah,
playing hard here. And she is still down.
Yeah. I didn't see her fall down, but when I did look at her, her face was obviously
grimacing.
Yeah.
And now at least they got her to sit on the bench, getting some attention from the athletic training staff, sports medicine staff.
Yeah, she was
just
Kentucky. Getting into her rhythm.
A lot of times you're scared of what it could be. And obviously we don't have a reporter over to getting the skinny on what happened there, but you know when a player goes down and they stay down, it's something serious.
Yeah. Hopefully she can bounce back from this one.
So Kentucky inbounds the basketball, 14 left on the shot clock, the dribble penetration, and then the hustle plays by both teams.
You know, sometimes you see matchups where there's one team, you know, hustling to the floor, getting to the floor quicker, and it seems like every time the ball's been on the ground or there's been a 50-50 chance to get the ball, both of these teams have had players surrounding that ball.
Possession arrow, Virginia. Full court press by the Wildcats. 3 first years on the floor for Coach Tina Thompson. And Renegade Lucas, that player, that defender was there when she crossed half court. You got to pull up. You got to pull up in that situation.
I know.
I mean, was she not there already?
She was there. She was definitely there. She tried to go around her while she was in the air, but I don't think she had that much body control to pull off one of those.
Kentucky with a 4-point lead. Will not have the last possession of this quarter, but should be able to get off a good shot. Rebound, Virginia. So Virginia with an opportunity for a good possession, great opportunity. Willoughby trying to direct traffic. That's a tough shot. Early shot.
Early shot, especially with only 12 seconds left in the clock.
Fans trying to get the violation, and neither team with the great possession in that situation.
Now both of them trying to force it, trying to go against what the defense was trying to do, and so they're just not extremely comfortable right now. So let's see what they have when we come back from the fourth quarter.
They call it the third quarter Wahoo dance, and it's crazy at John Paul Jones Arenas where the kids are having a good time. But what's been the tale of this third quarter for you, Lauren?
I mean, Jocelyn Willoughby has been getting things done as she usually does. Ryan Howard was in foul trouble, had 3 fouls, sat out most of the third quarter, and other players on this Kentucky team has had to step up. You saw McKinney go down with an ankle injury, it seems like, but other people just trying to get a little bit more comfortable, and we see Kentucky throwing it out of bounds again. Both these teams, 19 turnovers. Kentucky
outscored Virginia 12-7 in that quarter, but I thought the defense by the Wildcats really changed the complexion of the game.
Yeah, at the beginning of that third quarter, they were all bouncing on their toes. Whoever had the ball in their hand, they knew how to help the helper. They were clicking. Towards the end of that is when they got a little bit more uncomfortable.
That's big time activity on the offensive boards by the Wildcats. Carol Miller misses a gimme. Fans didn't like that. Good hustle by Willoughby. Possession arrow is going to go to Virginia.
Ryan Howard trying to do a little bit too much there with the dribbling. as we noted, hasn't been playing in her sweet spots and hasn't even been on the court that often. So she's trying to make something for her team, but Jocelyn said, not in my house.
Grad student out of East Orange. Directing traffic now, the two fourth years, if you will. Toussaint looking for some help. And it's going to be a double dribble by Nikki Toussaint.
There's a little bit of miscommunication there. They either didn't know what play they were running or something, but it wasn't productive possession at all.
Didn't work, whatever it was. 34-30 Kentucky lead. Little give and go. Wyatt measures, can't get that one to go down. Toussaint with a nice pass ahead. And Jablonowski made a living last year with that exact play.
Yeah.
Running the floor, getting ahead of the defense, and getting fouled.
And oftentimes you have post players who are great on the block, but don't run in transition well. They leave it to the guards. And Jablonowski is not that player. She is going to do the dirty work in the post, and she's also going to get out in transition and try to get some easy points. Oftentimes has a hard time with finishing, but there just took it right into Haines' chest and got the foul call.
Jablonowski now with 5 points. Good looking second free throw to cut this lead to 2.
And if you are Virginia, 8 minutes, 20 seconds left in this game, you have to take advantage of every single possession.
It's a beautiful play there, and nice knockdown by Howard. Carol Miller can turn the corner, can definitely turn the corner, draws a foul.
Yeah, last time down we saw Howard hitting that 3. Only hit another 3 in the beginning of the game, hits another one, and maybe that'll be the one that gets her going and trying to stretch out this lead that they have, 5-point lead.
We know how Kentucky got this lead. How does Virginia cut into this lead, Lauren?
They have to take care of the ball and get something going offensively. I mean, last time, a few times down, we saw them get nothing out of an offensive possession, and they can't score if they don't do anything offensively.
Toussaint to Jablonowski, and they are going to call a charge, I believe, on Nikki Toussaint.
Sure who that foul would have been on. I believe Nikki was going
so we see the
side.
Yeah, we see the penetration, and that will be on Toussaint. Okay. Lots of blue shirts.
Howard stepped up outside of that circle, and those are the rules. Fans aren't happy though.
We've got a little conference between officials. Both coaches almost at half court, asking for clarification, and now looks like Dee Kantner, who is certainly the senior official on this crew, and they're going to do a little review. You think that's reviewable? You think that's, if you were on the sidelines as a coach, would you want to review that?
For sure.
Yeah.
Always want to give us another chance to get the ball. But if it stays as called, which it will, Nikki now has 2 fouls.
So clarifying who the foul was on, it was indeed on Nikki Toussaint. So you've got the 2 veterans, 3 veterans out there for UVA. Kentucky sticking with the 5 on the floor. 15 on the shot clock. Howard will travel and give it back to Virginia.
Speeding this Kentucky team up. Virginia's defense has come and gone all game, and now this fourth quarter, they're trying to make it a little bit more consistent.
Tough defense. Look at this matchup.
Yep.
Howard, Willoughby. She's got to get some help there for sure. 7 on the shot clock. The long 2 just short by Willoughby. Here comes Kentucky.
She could have rolled there. Kentucky making it a little bit harder on themselves offensively.
10 on the shot clock. Haines can turn the corner. Nobody. Daylight. Easy.
No help side there. And if you're trying to cut down this Kentucky lead, somebody's got to be there.
Long 2 by Toussaint. The knockdown gives this crowd a little bit of energy.
Her first make of the game, 1 for 10. Not had a great shooting night, but she stayed in it. She's been playing great defense, on-ball defense, and that's what you can expect from an upperclassman.
Travel on Kentucky. Big call at the right time for Virginia. The pick and roll game is so good by the Wildcats.
And here comes this press. Virginia has to make sure they get it past half court so they can get set for a good shot here.
5:52 remaining in the game. Virginia trails by 5. Another shot by Toussaint goes down, and the fans love it.
I said it earlier, all she needs to do is see the ball go through the net once, and she'll have more confidence. That second shot looked a lot better than all the first 8 shots she took in the first half.
3-point lead, and this crowd,
they're feeling it.
Feeling it. Facing number 13. That's a beautiful, beautiful move by Howard. A nice little ball fake. And the dribble to the basket, beautiful move.
Yeah, Lisa Jovanovski tried to get over there to help, but couldn't get in front of her, got to the side of her, and if Howard gets that close to the basket, it's gonna be pretty hard to stop her.
The thing that's so hard about Ryan Howard is, first of all, she's 6'2" and has an inside and outside game. Let's start with the package. But her ability to put the ball on the floor, her ability to turn the corner, her ball handling skills, her ability to rise above defenders, makes her very tough.
Changes her pace in the middle of dribbling as well, which is so hard. And Virginia just gets it out in front.
Oh, wow. So the fans losing it on that one is Carol Miller, believing Carol Miller got fouled. It's a good pump fake. 6-point lead by Kentucky.
Dangerous pass there.
Jablonowski will go to the free throw line for 2. She's got 6 points in the game. The form, the in and out by Jablonowski. And in and out again, tough misses by Lisa Jablonowski.
Free throw line is so important. If you get there, you have to take advantage, especially late in the game.
Cornegate Lucas in transition. And the miss by Willoughby, probably anticipated the contact there.
And smart by Ryan Howard, because she knows she's in a little bit of foul trouble. Doesn't want to risk trying to block that.
Another rebound by Cornegate Lucas is Howard's miss. Just a straight pull-up. That is just what you got to do.
Smart shot. Last time, She went right into the defender's chest, and this time she's like, oh, I learned my lesson. Nice stroke from the free throw line.
You love it when first years self-correct. Virginia trailing by 4. And Roper takes Carnegie Lucas to the hole.
Virginia having some issues stopping that ball screen right there on the elbow. 2 times, haven't been able to get help defense to come on that end, but Toussaint finally finding her rhythm a little bit. This bench is extremely happy. 4 minutes left in the game. We'll be back.
All right, Monday after Monmouth-Pittsburgh men's basketball game, the All-ACC team will come up next with, we'll have the latest scores, news, and information from around the conference because nobody covers the ACC like we do. 9 p.m. Eastern right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. Turn in the corner, Nikki Toussaint.
Great take there, getting right by her defender, by 2 defenders, and laying it right up in the lane.
4-point lead, Kentucky. Defense picking up for Virginia. There's good body movement there. Body control.
That was a place where they could have bailed her out with the foul there, but they were smart and just kept their hands straight up, Virginia did.
Back in the ball game for Virginia. Amadine Trois certainly for that outside jumper. Nikki Toussaint rolls off, fresh clock. 20 seconds to the hole. Toussaint to Willoughby.
Great patience, great poise. Acts like she's gonna go one way and takes advantage of the defense. And JPJ is lit.
It's rocking. as the Cavaliers trying to cut into this lead and get this home victory. You look at the passion here on the Cavalier bench. Willoughby, Toussaint, the fourth years playing off of each other. The nice drive by Willoughby. And who else? The fifth year grad student doing work. Got us a ball game. Kentucky Wildcats, Virginia Cavaliers. Home team trailing by 2. And a turnover picked back up by Howard. Unfortunate series of events there if you're a Cavalier fan.
Yeah, Howard finally getting into her rhythm in this game. And we have to remember, she's still a very young player, only a sophomore. So her, mishaps on the offensive end, a couple times down, turnovers. She's young, she'll learn, but she has great poise, and she's been playing so well at that high post spot, and they're going to continue to get the ball to her right there.
Sophomore from Cleveland, Tennessee, unanimous National Freshman of the Year last season. Led the team with 16 points and 6 rebounds, and solid performance tonight. So Amadine Trois, that's her 4th personal. Coach Tina Thompson looks like she's leaving her on the floor. She looks at coach and says, Coach, I'm good.
Yeah, played all game in foul trouble. Has been in and out. Couldn't really find a rhythm offensively, but there's always another end of the floor. Always work to be done.
Trois out of Paris, France. Paris played on the French national team. Her first taste of college basketball this season after sitting out 2 seasons consecutively with ACL injuries. And will be counted on heavily, that point guard position. Virginia trails by 4 to Kentucky. 2:33 remaining, 17 on the shot clock. That was an opportunity for Toussaint to certainly take a 6-foot shot. Sometimes you can be too unselfish. Beautiful move by Howard.
Great move there. In contact, able to just finish right around her.
Pick and roll action. Trois. Looking at Toussaint, missed that one.
Couldn't get it to go, but Ryan Howard, she can.
Wow.
With 2 defenders, able to just go right in the middle of them.
So Kentucky with a 6-point lead. They're going to review that last play. All right, Lauren, you got 1:57 remaining in this ball game. Kentucky obviously able to do whatever they want to do on the offensive end when you've got a player like Howard, who's such a great one-on-one player. What does Virginia do to get back in this one?
I mean, right now they're relying heavily on Toussaint because she has been able to get it going, but I think you go back to the person that you've been relying on, for the past 4 years, Jocelyn Willoughby. I mean, she's been able to produce. She's getting to the line, and when she isn't making it, she's getting fouled. And so I think you run an ISO for Willoughby here and go back on defense and get a stop.
You look at them trying to figure out possession. Where does it go? And it looked like it was off of Jablonowski. A couple of touches, looked like it was her hand the last time before the ball went out of bounds. So the 6-point lead by Kentucky.
A minute and 57 seconds to go up against a ranked top 25 team on your own court. I mean, there's a lot of time there.
Oh, it's an eternity.
No matter who gets this ball right here, I think there's enough time for Virginia to get back in this game.
Listen, if you didn't think a minute and 57 wasn't an eternity in basketball, then you weren't watching the men's Final Four last year.
Oh, yeah.
when championships were won and lost in fewer seconds. And, of course, the UVA men's team prevailed to win
The national championship.
win the national championship. Great documentary, unbelievable. Capturing that magical season. Did you get a chance to see that?
The emotion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard when you're put on a pedestal that you kind of have to live up to every single night. You come out and just play a game that you love, and there's so much going on behind the scenes. So it's hard, but they did it. They did it, and they're going to continue to live up to that legacy now.
So Kentucky basketball, we got us I wouldn't say a barn burner yet, but 157 remaining. UK with the 6-point lead and really have been unstoppable on the offensive end and pretty unstoppable on the offensive boards.
For sure. Even when Howard did have her time on the bench, they were still able to get it done other ways.
11 on the shot clock. Here comes Haines with the on ball. Roper all the way to the hole. The soft jumper is missed. Carol Miller comes away with the rebound and a foul on Kentucky.
Great job there for Virginia. 3 people in the paint boxing out, making sure that they came up with that rebound, not allowing Kentucky to get any more second chance shots.
So Kentucky staying in that full court press, forcing Virginia to use a little bit of clock. Willoughby posting up, really doing work down low. Difficult to guard her. That's a beautiful move.
Beautiful move. She would have slowed down just a tad bit on that spin. She might have been able to come up with an and one, but fake one way, go the other way. Best move in the book.
Little set play for Willoughby. You called it earlier. What do you do when you're in the situation you got to get a bucket? You go to the bucket getters. That's what you do in that situation.
For sure. I mean, she's been reliable up to this point, right?
Yep.
She has all the confidence in the world going into her 4th year in the great shape.
Willoughby with 15 points. Minute 13 remaining. Kentucky with a 4-point lead. You know, folks looked at UVA's schedule this year and said, what were you thinking?
Yeah, right?
You got Kentucky, you got Connecticut, you travel to the West Coast.
Yep. All of that is prep to be in situations like these.
One of the toughest schedules in women's basketball this season, and a very young team having to contend with some of the best of the best.
I mean, by the time February and March comes, they played UConn. I mean, they played Kentucky. So it's like they'll have everything they need in Jocelyn. Who do you go to? Jocelyn Willoughby knocking down that 3.
Jocelyn Willoughby with ice water in her veins cuts this lead to 1 versus Kentucky. 31.6 remaining in this ball game. Worth the price of admission, every single bit of it.
No doubt in my mind that she wasn't going to take that shot, for starters. Second, she started this game scoring predominantly on the free throw line, not getting to the basket. The past few minutes, she's been getting to the basket. She's been looking for her shot on the outside. And she's been defending and rebounding. It's like, she does it all.
Yeah. I don't think Nene Cole, number 44 for Kentucky, thought she was going to shoot that shot. There was too much hesitation in how she guarded her.
And sometimes as a post player, you try to sit back a little bit because you're like, okay, drive. I don't want you to drive past me, but I'll allow you to drive rather than hit that 3. And in this case, Jocelyn Willoughby took advantage of that open space. 18 points.
The double-double. Started the season with 31 in this building versus Bucknell. Today, 18 points, 11 rebounds. Perfection from the free throw line with 9 of 9. You always hear it, Lauren, big-time players make big-time plays, and that was a huge shot by Jocelyn Willoughby.
For sure. Credit to the Virginia squad. You know, there are many times in games where you want to be that person to take that shot, you know, but they know what she can do. They see her do it every single day in practice, so you see the bench, you see the players on the court getting excited when she takes that shot because they know there's a very high chance of it going in.
So Virginia trailing by 31.6 ticks remaining. And who do you think Kentucky's going to? They've got a lot of weapons on the floor.
Ryan Howard not able to get it.
Nice hustle, starting with the great defense by Willoughby just to crowd Ryan Howard a little bit.
And I think it's interesting that they started Ryan Howard in the corner, which is what I was about to say until she came and got the ball. But they started her in the corner, and usually where she's been getting her points is right there on that free throw line. An ISO at the free throw line or a screen at the free throw line would have opened that lane up for her to get to the basket, which is where she's been scoring a lot of her points. But Virginia, hustle, hustle, hustle. Not the first to the ground, but gets it when it matters. And Jocelyn, she's emotional, man.
Because that's all you can do right there is yell.
Yep.
This is why you play the game, folks. You forget about rankings. You forget about where people are positioned in their conference. This is pre-conference basketball at its best.
Yep.
You've got Kentucky. Matthew Mitchell has done a tremendous job in his 13 seasons as head coach. Prepared his team for this moment. Tina Thompson, you juxtapose that. Young players. At certain times today had 4 first years on the floor. That's got to make a coach nervous, but you're back in this ball game. You're trailing by 1 with 20 seconds left.
Yeah, and I don't even think she's more even nervous about having those first years out there. She knows that they deal with it in practice. They deal with the turnover. They deal with all the mistakes and getting yelled at for that. That when it comes to game time, you remember, I can't do this, I can't do that. So you're putting yourself in positions where you aren't going to do that. And we've seen 3-4 freshmen out here all at once, and they haven't been turning the ball over necessarily a lot. And they've been rebounding. They've been making shots on the outside. We saw Courtney Gay-Lucas hit multiple shots from the three-point line tonight.
All right, you're trailing by 1. You think you're going to Willoughby. Is that what UVA needs to do? That's a question for you, Lauren.
Right now we see a zone from Kentucky. I think it's going to be interesting. They're going to have to either screen it, which they're doing right now. Thank you, Lisa.
Plenty of time. You got to run the play. Probably not the shot Coach Tina Thompson wanted her team to take.
Yeah, there was a lot more time on the clock for them to take that shot. A little bit closer to the basket. Coach Thompson not too pleased with that shot. I don't think that they were prepared for that zone either. But they could have gotten a look at the basket, a little bit better look at the basket in the paint.
So they are the queens of the passing lane. As a point guard, you got to manage that clock better in that situation and give your team an opportunity.
And I said it earlier, I think there are some players in the league, in the conference, who are going to want to take those big shots. But in a situation like that, down by 1, taking a three-pointer isn't the best one. I think getting into that lane and possibly getting a foul called on you would have been the best situation for Virginia. But for Kentucky, they're able to capitalize off of a major mistake.
Now, Virginia still has 2 timeouts remaining, so they can call that and advance the basketball.
Now for 3-point game.
30-second timeout right here. 3-point game. This is still a ball game.
It is still a ball game.
You forget that. Still a ball game. We've played a lot of basketball. We've seen games won and lost in 2 seconds.
Yeah. And now Claw has to have short-term memory because there's 2 seconds left.
Absolutely. You think about 2 seconds, you've got an opportunity to catch the ball and turn and shoot.
Yep.
It's plenty of time to get a shot off. And clearly it has to be a 3 to even tie this ball game up. Smart move by Kentucky to come out in that zone. We had not seen necessarily a half-court zone at that point.
In the first half, they showed it here and there, but they always resulted back to that man-and-man.
Yep. And even when they were in a zone in full court, 1-2-2, 1-2-1-1, they dropped back into something else. We never saw a 2-3 zone.
Yeah. In Virginia, only 3 made three-pointers today. So who's taking this shot? It is really up in the air because, as we know, Toussaint is obviously capable of making that three-point shot. Hasn't been hitting as of recent. Willoughby has been, but is not usually in that position to have to make three-point shots, so this is going to be a tough one. And if you have a wide-open shot, I believe anybody on this court, both Kentucky and Virginia, could make that. So
Virginia inbounding, of course, next to their bench. Got at least three shooters on the floor. What you don't need as a team is indecision here. Set play. It's great play. Willoughby does not connect. Right play for Virginia. Kentucky prevails.
Kentucky prevails, and this is momentum for Virginia. Virginia came out, they fought hard, they were leading up by 4 at one point. They know that they can play with the best of the best. This Kentucky team, we see Ryan Howard start a slow start, but was able to get comfortable there at that high post position and had players like Haines and Kiki McKinney step up where she left off. Virginia couldn't get it done today, but something to look forward to with the play that they came out and did today.
Well, it was Kentucky with that tough defense and a really savvy play toward the end of the game to really seal this. They did all the things they needed to do.
Yeah, Kentucky, we said it, we knew what it was going to be like. Scrappy defense. The press was something that gave Virginia trouble in the beginning. Rebounding didn't necessarily hurt Virginia because they were also rebounding, but Kentucky doing what they do best, sticking to their principles of hard work, honesty, and discipline.
Haines finished with 17, Howard with 13, Jocelyn Willoughby with 18, and that will do it for us. For Lauren Moses, I'm Fran Harris saying so long from John Paul Jones Arena in Charlottesville, Virginia, where Kentucky wins 50-47. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on ACC Network, download the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.